Hello, dear storytellers and history lovers. Welcome back to the channel where every brick, every street, and every river whispers a tale from the past. Today, we're re-stepping into the year 1800, a pivotal moment in American history when the young United States made a bold decision that would shape its identity for centuries to come. We're re-talking about the move of the nation's capital to a brand new city carved out of forests and swamps, Washington, D.C. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's journey back to the dawn of a new era. In the closing years of the 18th century, the United States was still stitching itself together. The Revolutionary War had ended in 1783, and the Constitution had been ratified just a few years later in 1788. But even as the ink dried on this grand experiment in democracy, one question remained fiercely debated. Where should the seat of government be? For over a decade, the capital had bounced around like a traveler without a home. First, it was in New York City where George Washington took his oath of office in 1789 beneath the balcony of Federal Hall. Then, in 1790, it moved south to Philadelphia, which served as the temporary capital, while something more permanent was planned. But Philadelphia, though vibrant and politically active, was never meant to be the final destination. The truth is, the location of the capital wasn't just about geography, it was about power, compromise, and regional balance. The northern states, with their bustling ports and growing industries, wanted the capital close to their centers of influence. The southern states, dominated by agriculture and deeply tied to slavery, feared being overshadowed by northern interests. Tensions simmered, and the fledgling Union needed a solution that would keep both sides at the table. Enter Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison, the architects of what would become known as the *** Compromise of 1790 ***. Legend has it that over a private dinner in New York, these three titans struck a deal that would alter the course of American history. Hamilton, the Secretary of the Treasury, desperately needed Southern support for his plan to have the federal government assume the war debts of the individual states. In exchange, Jefferson and Madison, both Virginians, secured a promise. The permanent capital would be located along the Potomac River, on the border between Maryland and Virginia, deep in the South. This wasn't just political horse trading, it was nation building. By placing the capital in a neutral zone, neither fully north nor south, the founders hoped to create a symbol of unity. And so, in July 1790, President George Washington signed the *** Residence Act, authorizing the creation of a federal district not exceeding 10 miles square along the Potomac. Washington himself took personal charge of selecting the exact site. He chose land that included the sleepy port towns of Georgetown and Alexandria, and vast stretches of forest, farmland, and marsh. It was raw, undeveloped territory, but full of potential. The president then appointed 3 commissioners to oversee the project, and in 1791, he hired French-born architect Pierre Charles L'Enfant to design the new city. L'Enfant envisioned something grand, a capital worthy of a republic destined for greatness. His plan featured wide avenues radiating from key points, open public spaces, and dramatic vistas connecting important buildings. He imagined a city not just of function, but of beauty and symbolism. Unfortunately, L'Enfant's perfectionism and clashes with the commissioners led to his dismissal in 1792. But his vision endured, thanks largely to the work of surveyor Andrew Ellicott, and notably Benjamin Banneker, a free black mathematician and astronomer who helped reconstruct L'Enfant's plans from memory after the original documents were lost. Construction began almost immediately, though progress was slow. Laborers, many of them enslaved African Americans, cleared trees, dug foundations, and laid bricks under harsh conditions. The Capitol building rose on Jenkins Hill, now Capitol Hill, and the president's house, later called the White House, began to take shape farther west. Yet, by 1800, the city was far from finished. Roads were muddy, buildings were incomplete, and amenities were scarce. Critics mocked it as a wilderness, a swamp, a folly. But on November 17, 1800, President John Adams Washington's successor made history. He became the first U.S. president to occupy the president's house in the new capital. In a letter to his wife, Abigail, he wrote, "I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house, and all that shall hereafter inhabit it. May none but honest and wise men ever rule under this roof." Those words, now engraved in the state dining room, marked the beginning of a new chapter. Just days earlier, on November 1st, the federal government officially relocated from Philadelphia. Members of Congress arrived to find the Capitol's Senate wing barely usable. The House chamber wasn't even complete. Lawmakers met in cramped, unfinished rooms, surrounded by the sounds of hammers and saws. There were no proper boarding houses, few shops, and the nearest tavern was miles away. Yet they came not because the city was ready, but because the idea behind it mattered. Washington, D.C. was more than a location. It was a statement, a declaration that the United States was not just a collection of states, but a unified nation with a shared destiny. By choosing a place that belonged to no single state, the founders emphasized that the federal government served all Americans, not just those in Boston, New York, or Charleston. Over time, the rough edges of the Capitol softened. Trees grew along Pennsylvania Avenue. Embassies and government offices filled the grid. The swampy reputation faded, replaced by marble monuments and stately neoclassical buildings. But in 1800, it was raw, uncertain, and full of hope. Interestingly, the city's very name carried meaning. Washington honored the nation's first president still alive when the move began. Though he would pass away in December 1799, just months before the Capitol's official opening, D.C. stood for District of Columbia, a poetic reference to Christopher Columbus and the spirit of discovery that defined the American ethos. Yet the story isn't without shadows. The labor that built the Capitol, including the White House and Capitol, relied heavily on enslaved people. Their names are often missing from history books, but their hands shaped the very foundations of American democracy. This duality, freedom proclaimed on soil built by bondage, would haunt the nation for generations, echoing through the same streets where laws were debated and rights demanded. Still, in that autumn of 1800, as wagons rolled down muddy tracks carrying crates of government papers, maps, and dreams, something extraordinary happened. A nation chose to plant its heart, not in an old colonial city, but in a place born of compromise, vision, and sheer will. Washington, D.C. was not inherited, was invented, and though it began as little more than a sketch on parchment and a clearing in the woods, it grew into the symbolic center of American life. Where presidents are inaugurated, laws are forged, and protests echo on the National Mall. All because, in 1800, a young country dared to build its future from the ground up. And there you have it, the story of how America's capital found its home in Washington, D.C., not through accident, but through vision, negotiation, and a belief in something greater than any single region or interest. It's a reminder that even the grandest cities begin with a single decision and a whole lot of courage. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a story. Every place has a past, and I'm here to bring it to life, one tale at a time. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and remember, history isn't just what happened, it's who we are. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.